All right, guys, welcome back. We got China to finish things off here. Looking forward to this one. I'm Breaking CBK, joined by Lumi here. We're going to be your casters. We also got our panel here for the game number 2. What's going to be coming at you? We have Jack and the one and the only Pro ZD over there. I mean, Blitz, sorry.
Sub. That guy really did look a lot like me.
A lot.
Like, that was... Ooh, I gotta show that shit to my mom.
You haven't yet? It's been out for a couple days.
I mean... dude, my mom doesn't watch anything on Reddit.
Fair enough, fair enough. How's it going, though, guys? Jack, how you doing?
Pretty good. I haven't been able to watch as much Chinese Dota as usual or throughout this qualifier, but you know, glad to be in here for this quick panel. And we have the draft underway here, but some storylines here as well. Like VG obviously made some changes recently. Landam heading over to coach from eHome. Once they had the addition of Chuan, they need someone who would kind of connect more with him and help him get through to the players. And obviously Hao's return as well. But for someone who's played against both these teams recently at multiple tournaments, Blitz.
All right, so we actually rated IGV higher than Vici after we played Vici. We thought that Vici was actually kind of slow. Like something felt off about their playstyle. Like it didn't really click. We didn't understand. Because I think China is really different from America. For example, in America, if you get hold inside your base, like you get really impatient and you're just gonna make a play. Whereas in China, they'll sit on the high ground forever, and they'll just let you farm everywhere until you make a mistake and you get impatient yourself. It's like a really weird stylistic difference.
Well, for LGD, their name has been made a pun to be like OD, which is come high ground, notorious back in the day for their high ground defense. And you mentioned slow. Ancient Apparition is a hero that has been pretty popular in the region, along with Bloodseeker. A couple of lineups that I've seen from teams here, I almost want to call it the bog, where like it's a bunch of slows, like not too much stunner table. There's some kind of slow combo, like where there's Death Prophet, Ancient Apparition, and they seem to bog you down. AA has been a big part of that in lane.
Yep. All right, so we just came off casting the first game, and Vici Gaming did not play slow there. They played a Lifestealer Ricky combination that was no Midas, just like straight armlet, and then just went for ganks nonstop. And they had a mid Dragon Knight, and guess what the mid Dragon Knight built? Drums Hood. All right, like there's nothing slow about that. That's like, oh god, we gotta win the game in 15 or we're donezo.
That's good.
They did not win the game in 15. How's Hood Dragon Knight was not on point. They got ran over, and this is the exact same start that LGD had last game. They went open with Earthshaker and AA, and they paired it with a Chaos Knight last game, really to take advantage of the cold feet in the laning stage. So we'll see if LGD is going to go back to that, although I think it's kind of hard to do it against Cogs and Torrents and stuff.
To get everyone caught up, once again, I know we're just switching over to the main stream here, coming up with some Chinese action. Obviously, the North America region finishing up there. Once again, congratulations, DC. LGD versus Vici Gaming. This is LGD up 1-0 here in this best-of-3 series. The winner of this moves on to play eHome Keen in the following round, and then the winner of that gets to go to TI at the final spot out of China. Of course, 3 teams going. You also have IGV coming out of the group stages, and then who am I missing? LFY. LFY, the sister team to LGD, coming out from earlier as well of the playoffs. So that's to kind of bring it all back here as far as what we're looking at.
The fans in China have joked, this has been a meme for a few months, that LGD is like the set champion. It's kind of like one of those like Chuck Norris jokes, where like the person's unstoppable. So LGD is like the set TI7 champion. So we'll see if that ultimately comes true. They'll have to first make it to TI. They've been one of the better teams in China recently, but came to the summit, had kind of mixed results there, so looking to find their form as well. And then eHome K has been one of the pleasant surprises of the scene. They've actually been better than the eHome main team for quite a few months already. I think they finished above them in like DPL as well, when eHome was actually relegated to Tier 2 of that DPL season. And then their captain, Rong, has a lot of experience as well. I think he was the captain for the IG main squad last year, I believe. Either IG or IG at last year's TI qualifiers.
Okay.
So an experienced player in his own right. And they've made a deep run into this tournament.
We're going to get the chance to see them again. The winner, they face the winner of this series. Now, interesting development here. Obviously, Visage coming out for Vici. Storm Spirit, up until the Storm Spirit, this was the exact same draft for LGD, by the way. But they're throwing a Storm Spirit now for their mid option.
No, they had a bounty instead of Rubik.
Did they?
Yeah. Similar enough.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they had the bounty hunter themselves. That is right.
Silencer mid for Vici would be so cool, but I'm not sure if they run it here. There's like a stylistic difference, because if this was NA, this would be like an instant Quapper Lina pick. But I noticed, especially in China, Lina isn't as valued of a hero.
Yeah.
So like half the time I see it unpicked or untouched entirely. Like if this were any other region, I'd say leaner co-op right now. But last time I think we played something like this, we got silencered. It was like some scrim we played in China. We had a very similar lineup to what LGD has, and they just counterpicked in a silencer. Who is it that we played? It was newbie.
They do. Silencer feels like especially disgusting as an early lane matchup, and he kind of enables like possibly an early win as well. And if they expect a team fight, which seems to happen a bit more often in the Chinese region, it feels like with Lina you want to be getting pickoffs and such as well. For the silencer, you can take that much earlier, like 5-man.
Is Visage popular? Like that's a pretty out of nowhere Visage.
I think it's pretty out of nowhere in this case too. We've been actually focusing a lot on the Southeast Asia region, so I haven't watched a lot of China ourselves over these last couple of days. But doing quick research, getting ready for tonight here, I can't say I saw a lot of Visage, especially from these teams here. So I want to say this is a pretty rare pick coming out of Vici.
Yeah. What I'm confused about is, okay, so LGD reveals their mid laner, right? They show Storm. If you're Vici here, don't you reveal? I guess it doesn't really matter because LGD have the very last pick.
Yes, they would.
So then it doesn't actually really matter. I was going to say, because normally in this position, after you see the enemy mid laner, then you take your mid laner and you try to match up carries. But I guess that's in favor of LGD. Because you have to reveal something at this point. So they ban the Quap and they take Ember instead. That's... Alright, so if I'm LGD Gaming, I pick Anti-Mage.
And say GG.
And I'm out of this game.
So you like the anti-mage here. Ember Spirit's been kind of
okay with Void too.
Yeah. Faceless Void.
10 seconds remaining.
Ember Spirit, though, from what I've been hearing amongst other casters here, it seems like that he doesn't really fit in the meta right now. He seems like he's just not the best mid option. He doesn't really win a lot of lanes. Is that justifiable, you think, Blitz?
This is one of the better ones for him. Gotcha. It is the Void. It has to be Void or AM there. The reason why... So I thought AM because AM matches up well against all these heroes, but pacing-wise, you want Void because he counters... He doesn't really counter Ember, but he counters the other 4 heroes really well. Like, if you're a Clockwork player, you want to be able to mess with the safe lane, right? Or you want to be able to mess with the mid, but once it gets to... Once you're past level 6, Void and Storm do not care at all about Clockwork. That's why AM would have also fit as a hero, but maybe they just didn't like the pace. Plus, you have a ton of setup. But when it comes to the Ember Storm thing, like, Storm usually loses a lot of matchups, but Ember kind of does okay-ish against her, especially in the mid-game.
Jack, what do you think?
Well, yeah, with what you said with the Ember Spirit, like before you'd see a lot of Embers could go into the jungle to catch up. They'd have a way back into it from like a tough lane matchup. That's probably less forgiving now, obviously with the extra creep and no shrine in the jungle and stuff, so maybe a little bit harder to justify running that.
All right, so I'll start with you guys on the couch right here before we let you go. Blitz, who do you have winning this one?
I think LGD is going to do it.
LGD 2-0 here.
Well, at least
I'm going with the people set TI7 champion LGD for this game.
All right, but it's an odd year. That's not possible.
That's true. That's true. The curse, if anyone can break the curse, it's got to be the Chuck Norris of Chinese teams, right?
All right, well, thanks for joining us, guys. Lumi, what do you think?
I really like the Visage pick. I feel like it pressures both AA and the Rubik relatively well. I see them having trouble once the bird's on top of them. With that said, though, I think the overall, once the team fight breaks out, like you get a Chrono, you get an Ice Blast in, and I feel like Vici has a lot of trouble recovering from that. The plan B for Vici Gaming, which is split push with with the Ember Spirit, split push with the Weaver, I think that's also going to be answered by Storm Spirit, by a jumping in Void with Chrono. So I think LGD has this lineup that is much easier to play. They have a lineup to me that's stronger at multiple points in the game, and unless LGD like mess up very badly, they should be able to take this series in a 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, their wombo combo potential is really powerful. The Rubik is mentioned against a Clockwork specifically, great in the earlier lanes, laning stage as well as just really throughout the game. So LGD seems like the lineup is there, and again, really going into this, I know a lot of people were expecting LGD to perhaps do very well. And with the way they looked the first game, I know we didn't get to see it on the mainstream here, but we casted it, and don't worry, guys. I mean, LGD looked pretty damn good. So if you're a fan of them, hope for the best. But Vici Gaming, with their tournament lives on the line, going to at least force that third in what would be a final game, of course. So, the horn's blown. We've got the bounty runes just about to spawn at least.
Yeah, so a slight small thing to point out in terms of players and hero distribution. Chuan almost always plays the Kunkka. He is Very, very good on the hero. He used to play the Kunkka even when Kunkka wasn't even a popular pick. But instead of this game, they put him on Visage, so I guess they feel more confident with him on the hero. Or it could be one of those things where just Amy just doesn't play Visage. It is one of the heroes that it's, to me, a little bit harder to play. You know, you got to micro the birds. He's also very squishy if you don't have the Gravekeeper's Cloak at the right time. So we'll see how Tron handles this micro-intensive hero. He plays things like Enchantress and all of that, so he should be okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fun, but yeah, to your point even more, this is not a hero you kind of just go into in a draft and be like, hey, let's pick a Visage. You know how to play, or have you played it before? Nah, not really, but I'll be fine. You really don't want to be doing that, especially in a case like this. Again, your back's against the wall, so I'm sure he's confident with it and has played it before. But, I mean, sticking to that real quickly, Visage as a hero, I mean, why did they go Visage support right here? Like, what is the benefit that he's going to bring?
So first of all, Visage is one of those heroes that could be very strong once you get a couple of levels. So they have the safe lane to ensure, right? Like, as you look at top, it's just a Weaver versus an Earthshaker. And that means the Visage will be able to pull, ensure himself the quick level 4, 5, 6. Secondly, I talked about how he's so good against the backline of the LGD support. You stick the 2 birds on an AA on Rubik, you get a ton of kills there. And lastly, they have a lot of AoE burst damage to start things off in a team fight, so his Soul Assumption will always be almost always fully charged. So you get a lot of like small benefits here and there, and it adds up to a very nice package for Vici Gaming.
Trial lane at the bottom lane. You do see some pulling going on, of course. Rubik especially trying to pick up some of that farm. Clockwork gonna put the cogs up, box out Faceless, burn a little bit of that mana. Also get some of that last hit. He's at level 2.5 himself, so going to be a struggle overall, I'm sure, for the Clockwork to get those levels, but it seems like so far doing a pretty good job at that. Middle lane, Torrent coming out right here. Storm Spirit, again, no ball lightning to work with, so could be in some trouble. Being ran down, no Searing Chains though either, but a little bit of body block, and yes, eventually the Sleight of Fist to finish the job. First blood in favor of Vici.
That was very nicely played by the Storm. He basically used his mana and overload attack to break the Flame Guard as soon as he can to basically mitigate the damage coming out, but it wasn't enough. Great body blocking by the Kunkka. After hitting Torrent, he was still body blocking. He did have the boots, but still, that was a great play.
Yeah. Yang bottom lane has boots himself, and that's going to help him avoid that cold feet there, despite the lift initially from the Rubik, so good job by Clockwork. And seems like so far this trial lane, I mean, having trouble again, really boxing out, really zoning the Clockwork. I mean, the fact that he's level 3 almost feels like that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, he's level 3 right now. Part of that is thanks to the fact that he had power cogs to kind of shove back the first wave or two to guarantee himself essentially level 2. He might actually have the Ice Feet. Okay. Almost set in for Yang, and he would have been in trouble. But yeah. My point to him being high level, I don't think it actually matters too much that Clockwork is well level. Something that Blitz talked about is that once your cores are past level 6, there's very limited gank target that the Clockwork can even go for. Like, you could kill the Shaker, and you could probably kill the AA. Like, even the Rubik could just lift you out of his cogs. So, I think Clockwork needs to play extremely well just because, to me, he doesn't really belong in this draft. Like, he gets countered pretty hard.
Yeah, it goes back to the Rubik pick especially. Very good against that hero, so we'll see what kind of impact he's able to have this game. Middle lane, you do see, speaking of Rubik, going to rotate in and try to put some pressure here on Ori, but Ori's doing a good job keeping his distance. Again, Storm Spirit being played by Maybe, despite what the name suggests right there. Found that out last game. Thanks, Lumi.
No problem. I mean, you could call him Somnus, too. I mean, he did tag it for a reason, I guess.
That's fair. But yeah, Maybe's the name that you would definitely know him by. It's safe to say. 11 here at the top lane. 4-minute bounty rune. It's going to be picked up, and Visage just kind of sits there, putting in auto attacks, but not much more you can really do, I guess. So you just kind of walk it off and be happy with that. Well, pretty slow start here, only about just over 4 minutes into the game, but of course we had the first blood. But middle lane matchup, you do see Storm Spirit 25-13, Ember 17-2. So Storm Spirit is definitely winning that despite dying earlier.
Yep, that's for sure. Yang continued to struggle a little bit on the bottom lane. The Ice Feet, or the Cold Feet rather, takes in and zones him away. This is looking really rough for Vici Gaming. To me, they're losing a lot of these lanes. Yes, they did get the first blood mid, but I don't think that's nearly enough to actually slow down the Storm Spirit, who's going to be getting a couple of stacks. They're going to set up yet another gank on him. Support should be rotating in now.
X comes in. Rubik was already here off to the side. Torrent connects as well. There's a lift as well onto Ori. Sleight of Fist trying to go for that kill on Storm Spirit, but Storm Spirit's going in himself. It's going to be a toe for toe right here. It's going to be a kill on Storm Spirit first, as Ember Spirit barely survives that double damage. Rune, of course, helping with that. Oof. Quite the close exchange.
Man, that was a hard man up by Maybe. Like, he walked towards the enemy tower to get that kill against a double damage Ember Spirit.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, hindsight's 2020. It looked like a pretty poor play, but for half a second there, I thought he would have actually got the counter kill. Then it would have been pretty hype.
The thing is, though, that transitioned very nicely into the 5-minute shrine right there for Vici.
Yeah.
So, or he goes right back up, and it's an overall big picture. Definitely, Vici very happy.
And that means they're going to gank him again, this time bringing Chuan as well.
Visage is here, Soul Assumption ready, as well as that Grave Joke. Flies both. There's the nuke. Star Spirit, and the rocket even flies in from the side to help finish the job. Chuan actually getting credit for the kill right there. Victoria just keeping his distance. This Star Spirit is 0-3 to start things off here.
Yeah. Also, unfortunately, that Chuan popped the slow onto the Storm, who wasn't moving anywhere anyways. If they hadn't, maybe they could have actually gotten a secondary kill on the Rubik. Top lane, Hao making a dive here.
Not going to be enough. Hao actually was 10% life. I want to say about 50 life or so, but he time-lapsed in time to survive there.
This is, by the way, one of Hao's best hero. Like, back in the old TIs of 2s and 1s and 3s, like, Weaver is definitely a go-to pick, even when Weaver was not in the meta. So it's not surprising to see him play it here, and he knows this hero in and out. You say like it looked kind of close, like he had that calculated, simple calculus, no problem.
Speaking of calculation, bottom lane, Faceless Void dives on a clockwork right there, did the math, and had the assistance of Yao to make sure that kill happened. So the first kill coming out for LGD, and finally getting on the board, so that has to feel good. Faceless Void essentially having free farm down here. Ring of Aquila is going to be coming out first, Poor Man Shield, and the Power Treads, of course, on top of that. So what kind of Faceless Void game is this as far as his item build goes? Because he's playing the one position here, they're going to be relying on his right click, right?
Yeah, so normally when you go safe lane Faceless Void, you could go pick up a Lincoln Sphere, although in this particular game, I think Lincoln's looks pretty bad. There's not many spells that actually blocks. I think he's going to opt for something like a Shadow Blade, something like Mantis out, just basically allow or give his team a little bit more right-click damage, instead of just being like the really, really hard to kill hero that could chrono you.
Yeah. Weaver, Brown Boots has been picked up, and it looks like his Dragon Lance is in the works. Speaking of Hao playing the Weaver, going to go for more of that bulkier build and ready to combat here earlier on. Top lane, Earthshaker falling back before the rotation is successful from Amy specifically. Amy, by the way, played a fantastic Ricky game last game, and I know they came out on the losing end, but he was doing a lot of work in that early game, just roaming around from lane to lane, getting courier kills and whatnot, kills himself. As the bottom lane, though, this is going to be a Chronosphere. You're kind of wondering if that was going to come out. They felt it was necessary. They don't get the kill, though! Oh my gosh, that's a miscue. Okay, they will get the kill at the end, but at what cost now? As Yao's in a little bit of trouble, but the TP's in time. No. Ember Spirit tried to come back in with a Fire Remnant, but it was a little too far away. Well, that actually worked out for LGD pretty well in the end because of what was costed in return.
Yeah, that reminded of the C game I casted yesterday, where everyone just misfiring their spells. They didn't lay off that second round of auto attack. Victoria might be dead. He could just TP out here if he wants to, but I guess he wants to soak a little bit of that experience.
Wants to bait. He wants to do. Meanwhile, top lane, is that a solo kill?
Yes,
it sure
it
is. Echo Slam used.
Yep. Level 6, you find a slow speed support hero, walk up to him next to a creep wave, Echo Slam, gets the kill. But a key mistake there by Ori did leave a Fire Remnant on the mid lane. Obviously wanted to basically get the kill and jump back, but because he left the Fire Remnant on the mid lane, it wasn't quickly enough to burst down the Ancient Apparition.
X marks the spot, pulls back Yao. Earthshaker's not really nearby, he's pretty much left in his own. And this was a smoke gank coming out from Vici, not that it would have been really seen anyways, to be fair. But still a successful gank nonetheless. Of course, the slight move speed increase.
It was good that they were able to get the kill without using the hook shot, so now Yang could walk up the hill and maybe start something against 11, but I say that though, he is in a little bit of trouble.
Starting a fight he can't really finish right there. Yeah, that's him falling back pretty quickly as he runs into the Earthshaker. He's lucky that, obviously the Echo Slam, he knew it wasn't off cooldown yet, but still. If he had Echo Slam, that could have been a different story. But man, 11's doing very well here. Sorry, I keep it in the wrong key, guys. Freaking Dakota keybinds here. But Earthshaker, the Blink Dagger, I mean, he has 1,000 gold saved up with Power Treads and an Iron Talon on top of that. This is going to be a pretty farmed Earthshaker.
Yeah, I think the more impressive thing that he was able to get this amount of farm against a Weaver, which pressures against most melee heroes extremely hard. But like you said, he was able to pick up a couple of solo kills. He's able to survive a couple of ganks. And 011 was able to pick up the blink last game relatively early as well, and it started off the mid game with a bang. A 2-man Echo Slam in the mid lane, followed up by his teammate Sonic Wave. And to me, that like just took over the game once that mini team fight happened. So I'm looking towards him to make the big plays again. This game, a lot of juicy targets that he could open the fight with Echo. You echo the Ember Spear, you echo the Weaver, and suddenly those two normally very elusive hero could just straight up die.
Yeah. Top lane, Storm Spirit charging in, Haste active. Going to dive this Visage here. TP coming in from Clockwork, but don't think it's going to be in time. There's an easy kill on a Visage. And now Easy Ball lining out of there if necessary to survive. So Clockwork also will have to be a little careful himself, but it gets a solo Storm Spirit now. I think he's
mid lane.
Nothing to be too worried about. Middle lane, though, X marks the spot, pulls back in, yeah, with the torrent. And here comes Faceless Void, though. Weaver forces to use a time lapse caught in the Chronosphere now. Ember Spirit, Fire Remnants in the background, but this Weaver's in a lot of trouble. In fact, will go down as a zap comes in from Victoria to finish the job. Ghost Ship, that Ghost Shark of his, actually connects right there on a Faceless Foil, but he has another time walk in 3 seconds. The lift on the Ember Spirit. Here comes the Visage, but what is he going to do as the Echo Slam goes off right there? The Fire Remnant away, though, and Ori's going back in, actually. Yang joins the party now with those cogs. Going to block in the issue, the whole cog block going on, but 11 still standing his ground. Throws out the Enchant Totem. Down goes Clockwork, and now Ember Spirit has to keep his distance, as does Kunkka and Visage. So they did not lose anyone on the Radiant side. That was pretty impressive. As I say that, okay, they're going to lose one in Victoria at the very end, but overall pretty pleased, I'm sure.
Yeah. Trading support Rubik for a Clockwork, a decent trade. To me, that's the power of an offlane Earthshaker. Look at how tanky he is, just with power treads. He basically just stood in the cogs, tanking 2 to 3 heroes, and they just couldn't kill him after all those spells was already previously used. Despite of that, though, Hao is going to get a tier 1 tower. I wonder what build he is going to be going for. I'm expecting something like Dragonlance into, let's say, a Diffusal Blade.
Okay.
The reason I say that, though, like, your normal defensive items like Linken's and BKB, to me, doesn't really protect you from the Chronosphere. So I think he just have to, like, raw stat it up, and hopefully he can survive through the Chrono. And the last team fight, it looked like pretty close. He was able to get off the time lapse until, like, the last couple of nukes come out.
Yeah. To clarify, AA also did die that last fight, but still, both supports, and they got 3 kills in return, including that Weaver, as we mentioned. But yeah, going back to the Weaver real quickly too, as they're rotating bottom lane, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to catch anybody though, unless Clockwork maybe runs into somebody. Hookshot is ready. We'll find Rubik as he saw the ward put down. Perhaps we'll see if they take care of that. But Weaver gets boots, and you know, I say that like it's almost odd hearing that, but there are a lot of Weavers that I've noticed that actually don't get boots, frankly, until even later on in the game, if anything.
And that's the difference, right? If you want to rush towards Lincoln Sphere, and you're going to be AFK farming anyways, upgrading the treads doesn't help you that much. Oh, 11 walks right into the cogs.
Well, it's right into them. That battery assault is causing a lot of issue, and it is going to secure the turn kill out of him. Yeah, he just literally ran right up into there, completely blind. I mean, that was an ambitious movement there.
I mean, it looked pretty bad, but in actuality, Storm could have jumped in. There was an AA blast that could have flown in as well. But they quickly identified it. Oh, Shaker was a little bit out of position, so let's not commit more resources to this lost fight.
Bygones be bygones, they say. Storm Spirit, though, can he get out of this? Absolutely not. That was more than enough burst damage used. Bottom lane now. Weaver's trying to get the kill onto Rubik, and this is going to be 3 kills if they gets the kill, actually. It is going to be enough. Geminate attack does him in. That's 3 kills in the span of about 30 seconds there.
Yeah, I think right now LGD's playing very sloppy, especially Victoria. He's still not level 6 yet, and recognizing that Hao says, there's no way you can steal my Sakuchi. Every time I see you, it's a free kill. And he's been going hard. I think first time was in the mid lane, and now diving the tower to get yet another kill. They need to get this Rubik onto 6 because not just Sakuchi, like there's a lot of other great spells that he could steal. 011 again, now it's going to get caught out. LGD, I mean, crumbling a little bit here.
This is interesting because he has Echo Slam. No TP's coming in. Oh, nice job with the blink. He bought it and blinked away. Clutch plays by 11.
Yep.
Oh, jeez. I thought, you know, I was saying, though, he had the Echo Slam, and if somebody was TPing in, that could have been a nice turn, but that was even better.
The crazy thing is he had the bugs on him, right? So he had to sequence the purchase and the blink out very rapidly, or else the bugs would have canceled it. So
yeah, I could have done that.
cool under pressure. So, I mean, the other trick that you could do is that you could backpack your blink and then put it back in your inventory, wait 6 seconds, and blink back out. But hard to do that if you're not tanky enough to pull that off.
Yeah, very good getaway on his part. Middle lane. They want to catch the Ember Spirit. Chronosphere is ready. Mask of Madness purchased, by the way. He's going to use it right here. And on top of the Ice Blast, it's going to be enough. Rubik was there as well at the last second, actually. So without Rubik, that would have been a little interesting. But yeah, Mask of Madness on Faceless. That's the ancient pub-style build on these Faceless Voids.
I really like the way that Ame played that. He jumped into the trees here and then chronoed him from the trees. Instead of jumping, let's say, right on top of the Ember, right? Like, if you jump right on top of the Ember, he just, like, jumps back out with his Fire Remnant. So, chronoing from the trees was the only way to get that kill, and they played it perfectly.
I noticed that too, so I'm glad you kind of answered my question without me asking it as far as that movement. That makes sense, though, because, yeah, with these top-tier players, you figure he would have been able to react in time.
Yeah.
He went on top. Ember Spirit, by the way, drums. Speaking of, he likes drums, man. He went that on Dragonite last game.
Yes, he did. I mean, I think this game, it's more so for, like, just getting some extra tankiness, and it does help his team brawl a little bit earlier. And I think it's okay for Ember to go with this kind of build because you're mostly spell damage anyways. Mid lane?
Battery Assault Wars coming at you right here as he steals it, and that will be a death on the. Never mind, he hookshot it away. Oh my god.
The plays.
The plays indeed. The Cogs into the hookshot away. He survives actually. Top lane, AA was actually picked off in the boundary area while that was happening. So, well played. I hear an X marks the spot going off somewhere on himself. Just to pick up that hasten and get away, but yeah, beautiful escape there. Clockwork.
I feel like LGD is kind of playing to the pacing of the game of Vici Gaming when they don't have to. Like, they have two very elusive, hard-to-gank cores. If they just slow down the pacing of the game and just farm, they should be able to extend very strongly into the mid-late game. But instead, I see their supports being very active, and normally that's a good thing, but right now they're getting picked left and right.
Bottom lane. Picking a pick, Storm Spirit, I guess he'll be fine. Just simply an X and Torrent combo, just to harass her.
Right, and that's exactly what I mean, right? It takes so much to kill your Storm, and it takes so much to kill your Void that you could just play a slow farming game. But instead, they're playing into the tempo against the Ember Spirit that went drums, against a Weaver that's going like Tread, Dragonlance, Diffuso. You know Vici wants to fight early, but LGD, despite of that, is fighting into them with heroes that, like Rubik and AA, are just very squishy in the front lines.
LGD's trying to be aggressive, though. That Echo Slam, it's still level 1, unfortunately, for a Shaker, but they're looking for a Smoke Ink right here. Seeing if there's any target they can find. Port coming in as well from Faceless Void. He's actually going to do just a set of Ancients here. Instead, AA will just put some more offensive vision out, and as we see on the mini-map, it doesn't seem like they're going to be running into anyone anytime soon here. Maelstrom is going to be the next item of choice for Faceless, so he's going to keep up that attack speed. Try to get some massive stun procs in between of the time lock ability. For now, as you mentioned, just keep on farming. That's the name of the game. Storm Spirit, he's well on his way to finishing that Bloodstone. As he keeps pushing out the bottom lane. But we're going to see a group up now from Vici here at the top. Never mind. It looked like that they were going to push the tower as a team, but they decided to fall back, actually. Weaver, Diffusal Blade, you were talking about that possibility, and sure enough, it is coming out here.
I'm really worried for the likes of AA and Rubik as these fights break out. Because Weaver, all he's going to do is just like go to the back line and just kill these two supports. And there's not a damn thing they could do about it. Technically, the Rubik can steal Sakuchi and zip away, but as experienced as Hao is, I'm sure he will protect the Sakuchi steal by like throwing out a swarm in between and just kill Victoria if he's going for that kill.
See, moving as a team up here is LGD, at least the 3 of them. You got AA as well as Rubik and the Earthshaker, and giving counter-warding in the process. Earthshaker's not afraid to be in the front lines. He has a Forest Staff now queued up to go with the Blink, of course. Forest Staff, especially against the likes of a Clockwork. Very good item to have. Not even like a Kunko, you can argue. Just in general. I mean, Forest Staff, for what it's worth, for how much gold you spend on it, it's such an efficient item. But yeah, we see up here, 11 gets caught, actually. The Familiar is slamming down into the ground to help finish the job on top of a Battery Assault. And Tron actually last hit credit there with the Soul Assumption.
That KS was actually pretty important, not for Chuan, but for Yang. If you look at his item queue up, he's like 100 gold away from a Hanamitis, so Chuan always, getting his own, but I think that one should have really went to Yang.
But Chuan almost level 10 now, no, but almost a Solar Crest even finished, as well as the Medallion here picked up. They're going to go for Roshan instead, or transition into Roshan, I should say. Yeah, so good. That's a first use we've seen of the Familiars, though. We haven't really talked too much of Visage here, but using those Familiars to help set up a gank, of course, coming out from Visage, and that's one of the powers of this hero as a support option.
Yep. Also adds quite a bit of disables to the team. a disable that doesn't essentially attach itself to the hero, right? You could kill Tron, but he'll still provide disable through his death because of the birds. Very unique kind of supporting tool that you don't see in any other hero's kit.
Interesting level 15 talent choice right there. Not that I'm surprised he got it, but Faceless Void gets a 25 damage over the 7 armor. I mean, 7 armor is quite a bit, and this is a decent physical damage, especially with that Weaver on the other side. But
it's just the Weaver, actually. I mean, Ember's doing magic, right?
That's true, yeah.
The Bolt is coming out as magic. Soul Assumption is magic, so I don't know. 7 armor is kind of a lot, though. So.
It is. Yeah, 25 damage. Not much more damage coming out, especially with that Chronosphere up and the Mask of Madness and the Maelstrom kicking in right here. And he's going to have a full-on Mjolnir at this rate pretty damn quickly, actually. So not surprised to see him on top of the net worth charts at nearly 10,000 net worth overall. Ember Spirit close behind, though, at 8,300. A Maelstrom himself and a BKB now queued up.
Yeah, the Mjolnir is going to be great because if he's right next to the Ember Spirit, it's going to constantly try to proc. Ooh, 11?
Scott again. Can he blink away in time? Oh, it's actually still on cooldown. He's trying to juke and jive him with hook
the
shots.
birds?
He actually, the bird hits it. And the Echo Slam goes off to stall him even more. That's a Soul Assumption nuke right there. The Fissure, if he actually escapes this, the Familiar is not going to stun long enough. Oh my gosh. I mean, it cost him an Echo Slam, but
I mean, that's fine. The cooldown's not that big. It's only 2 minutes. Chuan first takes the kill, no Midas for the Clockwork, and then denies the kill on the Shaker. I don't know, Tron. I mean, that's just an honest mistake. So.
Yeah, there's nothing to blame there. That's just, as you said, unfortunate. As middle lane, he comes back in, actually. They go for a kill on a Storm Spirit, the Fire Remnant initiation, and down goes that Storm Spirit. Ice Blast in the face of Visage. At least they're going to get the turn kill on a Visage, but AA also will fall. So a 2-for-1 as Ori gets the better of this middle spree.
Top lane, X onto Ame. Ame just chronos and goes right on Kunkka, but the X callback.
He still wants it, though. Time dilation. He gets the kill. The Cock's not in time. In comes the Shark, but he's going to avoid it, actually, with the Time Walk right there. He gets a double kill. On the bottom lane, I was also watching Weaver. He's actually still trying to get out of this. Shikuchi was taken by Victoria, by the way. He may want to go back in because of the presence of Ember Spirit, too. And, in fact, Rubik, he gets blown up. Earthshaker. I don't think they have a stopper for him.
Yep.
So he's good. Well, I mean, it's hard to kind of really, like, that wasn't bad for Vici, but a double kill for Faceless at the top lane by himself is pretty good.
I mean, at the same time, I feel like Hao is also getting to a point where I feel like he's pretty unstoppable. But yeah, I'd much rather to be on LGD side, because the ultimate trump card is still the Chrono on top of the Weaver. Like, despite how farmed the Weaver is, I'm not sure if he could survive a Chrono if they throw everything on top of him, and they likely will.
Hey, you know that big Echo Slam's coming, too. 20-second cooldown still on it left for Earthshaker. They're going to try to make a play on a Hao down here, though. Ice Blast on top of him with the Fissure initiation, the lift. A great execution from LGD. Who needs a Chronosphere when you have 3 other heroes putting out the CC instead? Ori, Flame Guard's up, though. Gets the 1 kill to A. Nice job with the Remnant 4. Catches her Earthshaker. Echo Slam coming up in 1 second. Yeah, he's not going to use it. I thought he might have gone for a turn. But actually, Faceless is still farming over in his Ancients. He doesn't have a TP, or he does, but yeah, they chose it's best not to really try to help. I mean, I guess they got the Weaver kill, and they were just happy with that, at least.
Well, there's no reason for them to come back, because he doesn't have a Chrono anyways, right? So
True.
He comes back, he's a big melee creep that can hit really hard, essentially. So recognizing that, he said, look, I'm just going to get my farm, and you guys do you. Like you mentioned, he does have the Mjolnir finish. One thing I do want to mention about that is that the Weaver does have the Diffusal Blade now, so you could just easily purge off the Lightning Shield. So I'm not sure how big of an effect that will ultimately have in a team fight.
Yeah. Something else to keep in mind, AA constantly applying that chilling touch, at least when he's nearby, especially with the Faceless Void, is going to be pretty huge as far as damage output goes in these fights. What else did I notice, though, too? I was going to be... Oh, yeah, BKB's almost finished on Faceless Void, actually, as well. But yeah, Storm Spirit Bloodstone is down to 8 charges. He did die shortly after he got it, unfortunately. Rubik's going to get picked off in the middle lane, meanwhile. Now, Storm Spirit does have a Yules to follow, but already being down to 8 charges, that definitely stings a little bit.
Vici, though, this is their game plan. Kind of ramp up the tempo, ramp up the aggression, finds a Rubik behind tier 2.
Uh-oh. They're going to catch, actually, the Earthshaker right here. The tier 2 is still up on top of this, but Earthshaker's like, screw it. I'm going to take out people with me. Pops the Echo Slam. The Ice Blast will get the kill on a Clockwork, and they're going further. Chronosphere comes out. Ember Spirit not caught in it, but it might not matter. He cannot get away, but Faceless Void, nice time walk. He's going to heal up. He'll survive. That wasn't Aegis, though.
Did that chrono catch anybody?
It might not have, to be honest. It seemed like it was just maybe zoning people, if anything.
Maybe it caught like a support on the other end of it, but yeah. I guess it got the kill, so hey.
That's true. I mean, that is the thing, to be fair. Like, even if it, like, yes, you want to catch people, but if anything, maybe zone them. Like I said, I would have to really go back and look at that. But yeah, they get the Aegis burnt, so not having to deal with that now, at least.
I think the Aegis was close to running out anyway, so it wasn't like the biggest loss for Vici. To me, though, I think Ember Spirit needs to make sure that it's hard to say whether that was worth it, right? Because he threw his life away for Earthshaker and a tier 2, so that seems to be okay. But as we move on more and more forward, it feels like a lot more of this game is on the shoulder of Hao. We talk about how Yang is going to have trouble scaling as a Clockwork, even with his hand Midas. Ori is throwing his life in for kills. It's really up to Hao to do that damage. And now?
Yep. Chronosphere's not up. They know this. No Echo Slam either, so they're going to take advantage. They find the Earthshaker. And looking to find more out of this hook shot. Will catch the AA. The Bounty Rune stolen right in front of him as well to top it all off. The cherry on top right there.
The pressure is real. I mean, I think Blitz and I were looking at the game in a much slower context, right? He says, look, Chinese teams sit on the base, just wait for your ultimates and then fight. But the pacing of this game is the complete 180 from what we believe to be.
Yeah.
And Vici Gaming is just punishing LGD very heavily.
He has a Chronosphere. He kind of just walks right in. He pops his BKB, though. Chronosphere is going to use it. Yes, he is. He will catch a couple just on the outskirts right there. Kunkka included, it looks like, but he may not even be able to kill him. It looks like barely will be able to. The BKB is going to be wearing off, though. He has to be careful. Timehawk, he can't get it off, actually. All the mana was gone, and he's not buying back. He just bought that BKB, and if you're Vici, you probably understand that. They're going to go balls deep right here. Storm Spirit will end up denying himself, or I guess he might have just died at the end. Actually, Schwan, credit for the kill right there.
Well, Ice Blast, would it get Ori?
No. Oh, yeah, looks like it actually might have. It did catch him right there at the end. The Cold Feet is going to lock him down, actually. Earthshaker jumping in, does have that Echo Slam, but the Battery Assault causing issues. Like, screw it, I might as well use it once again, but it's not the best use of the Echo Slam. He goes down. That's 3 heroes staying dead, including the Faceless.
LGD is just throwing lives at Vici right now. They're not getting anything done. They threw 3 heroes onto Ori. Ori survives. He says, look, I'm going to port home now, get full HP and Fire Remnant right back, and Hao is going to lead his team and take perhaps a first lane at Rax. The critical mistake in that team fight was the Chronosphere not catching the Ember. I think Ember was like stunned for a second or so. Had he Chrono immediately, that would have, to me, ensured the Ember kill. But instead, I think he went greedy. He wanted to min-max it a little bit. And as a result, they lose a huge team fight and the melee Rax.
100% with you. Yeah, no, he held off, and I was wondering myself. I was like, when is he going to use it? And by the time he did, he gave the chance to react for Ember Spirit instead. And he also went for more like the bigger Chronosphere as far as the positioning of it, trying to catch others. So it's one of, obviously in hindsight, if he could have a second chance, he would 100% just simply use it on the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, if he could choose if to get Ember or like 2 other supports, Ember is the one that he would want. But well, at this point, no point to lament about the past. Let's see what LG could do. The next big team fight is going to be at Roshan. And I think this perhaps is where LGD has the quote-unquote lead. They have Chrono back up, right? There's no way they can stop that Chrono from coming out because of BKB on the Void. So in theory, LGD should be able to have map control here and ensure that they get the Aegis. At the same time, though, Ori could be split pushing bottom. There's pressure of bigger creeps on the mid lane against the LGD high ground. So we'll see if Vici could kind of push out the side wave and steal a Roshan for themselves.
Meant to mention this earlier. I don't know if he actually had it in that last fight. It's very possible he did, but the Pipe of Insight picked up by Kunkka here. As far as the support item goes, there is a lot of magic damage here on the Radiant side. As Faceless Void runs in, there is the Chronosphere. Only catches Visage, though. Gonna beat him down. Not even enough damage, though. He's gonna have to turn his attention instead to the support nearby and Kunkka. They do get the kill on a Visage, and Kunkka will barely live for now. Storm Spirit finishing the job with the ball landing in, gets the kill. But in the back lines, they're losing their ult supports, including Earthshaker, who dies with an Echo Slam ready to go. Faceless Void, time dilation. He's gonna get caught, though, and that Diffusal Blade just burning all the mana that he had. He at least has a buyback, but again, it's just the choices here from LGD just seem so sloppy as far as the Chronospheres, who they want to go on. It's not working out the best.
Yeah, I feel like LGD is feeling highly pressured by the current game state, and obviously they should, so they felt like they have to take a very risky team fight. But all of the narrative that we had was, you know, your ultimate trump card is you have the Chronosphere for the Weaver, right? The problem is, how many times did we actually see the Weaver getting chronoed? 0?
I don't think we've seen him get chronoed.
Exactly. Like that's just how
that.
like out-positioning LGD as a result. And if you're looking at the end of the day, this Weaver is 4-2 and 9, outputting a ton of damage in every single team fight. And if he's not controlled by the Chronosphere, the rest of the team just can't control him. He's got a BKB. So he just gets to run around and kill everybody.
And now you look at a hero like Visage, sure enough, the support hero. He has a Solar Crest, a Rod of Atos pickup, and he's level 15 on top of that. He gets the 50 damage talent. I mean, him with his familiars, he's going to start, you know, being much. We saw that last fight with the Gravekeeper's Cloak. I mean, it took forever to kill him. And that's not good for LGD.
The problem for Faceless Void now, because of that Rod of Atos, if you root the Void, he has to commit. Like, he has to activate his BKB, because if it doesn't, and he can't use his Time Walk, obviously due to the root, he could just die. So that Atos pickup from a 4-position support has a huge impact in this game. Also, you know, pressures the Storms as well.
Faceless Void level 21 right here, so starting to keep an eye on level 25 talents, of course, in this game. See him, you got Ember Spirit and the Storm Spirit both at 22 as well, but you see Faceless Void, you know, it's going to be another one of those interesting cases. We mentioned all the physical is on that one hero on the Weaver, but 20% evasion, another case being good, but then 600 Time Walk cast range is not too shabby either, so we'll see what he goes for there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You definitely could make a case for either one.
Yeah.
And now this could be yet another desperate smoke attempt from LGD.
Faceless in the front lines, looking for that option. Everything is up. We still have yet to see, you know, again, the big Echo Slam. Not to put all the pressure on 11 here, but I would like to have that. You got to give credit, though, to Vici. That's probably a lot of it is because of their positioning.
I mean, the other issue is you can't combo Echo Slam with Chronosphere. Like,
That's true.
It's just awkward, right? So part of it's the great positioning for Vici, but also part of it is just the Nombo coming out from LGD.
That is a very fair point, actually. And Ember Spirit just gets a gem delivered on top of everything. So as far as map control goes, Vici is starting to really control things very well. And you look at the lack of vision right now from the Radiant side. They have one pretty deep ward in the Shrine, but that's basically it.
Oh, this is like a pretty sweet word. Have not seen this one before.
Yeah, where it's actually positioned.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to D-ward this one. I mean, if you don't have a gem, but...
That's more of a, if they want to get to do Roshan when it comes up next, but by the time Roshan's out, I mean, that ward's already going to be gone anyway, so... Yeah, it's only 2 minutes left. Not going to be of much value, it seems like, at this point. Storm Spirit, he's fine. I thought Ember Spirit might have been looking to hunt for him, actually, but just happens to be nearby. Both are going to Shivas here, both the Spirits. Storm and Ember Spirit.
Yeah, there's a lot of physical damage coming out from the respective core of the enemy team, so it makes sense. I guess for the Storm Spirit, also have to contend with the birds.
If you're Rubik here, is obviously Shikuchi goes back to being a very good ability to steal. Is that pretty much his priority, just stealing that ability? Like, or in a fight, is he looking for more?
If he could get Ghost Ship, that's the best spell he could steal for the team fight. Because that the rum is going to be huge. 11, going to just defensively TP out.
That was it. I mean, he had teammates nearby, but again, already taking the damage from Weaver. They don't have all that information, and the Diffusal Blade kicking in too. You just saw his mana start to disappear.
Yep.
He doesn't want that.
Also, no need to risk your life for a tier 2. The big fight is going to be the high ground.
Wasn't it last game we were mentioning about 11 playing the Earthshaker that the Forest Staff how good of an item? That was that game too, but he ended up going to Yules instead.
I think the opposite this game is that Yules is better because you're up against... Well, still, Forest Staff is good, don't get me wrong, but he also was in a lot of trouble against the X-Torrent combination, and you could dodge that with the Yules. So, in a perfect world, he has both.
Yeah, which he's trying to now.
Yeah, he's trying to do, but kind of poor.
Obviously, there's Clockwork here, and Forest Staff good against him, so kind of pick your poison type of deal. Weaver, Cheese is still on him. So that with the time lapse, this is going to be a very slippery hero to kill, as he tends to be. And Ember Spirit has enough gold for that Shivas, but of course the idea of buyback that he's thinking about. He also is a top net worth in the game. Faceless has started to die off a little bit when it comes to top net worth. He was for really most of this game up until these last, really feels like maybe 5 minutes or so, if that. Lincoln Sphere coming.
Yeah, he feels like he feels pressure enough that he needs to buy the Lincolns, which I mean, there are a lot of ways to. There's a lot of things that it blocks, but at the same time, they could easily pop that Lincolns with, let's say, Rod of Atos and then keep going. So I don't know how impactful that item actually will end up being.
Yeah, it's one of those, unfortunately, especially for one position, it's like this later on in the game, you want to be getting items that are like, okay, now they feel comfortable fighting. You know, Lincoln Sphere, as you're getting at, is that really the answer of, oh, now they're going to be good to go, you know, in a fight? So.
And it still doesn't help you with things like, let's say, getting rooted by the Ember Spirit. Like you can make an argument that getting Mantis out to, you know, get out of roots like from Rod of Atos and whatnot might be perhaps even better, but. You know, obviously he feels differently, so.
Well, again, working on finishing it, but it also doesn't seem like Vici's maybe in too much of a hurry themselves, but a smoke up from LGD. Gonna really bait out Faceless Void here, it seems like, but you already have Vici falling back. Almost as if they might have seen something.
Aegis timer is what they want to punish. It just timed out, so they want to make a play.
And the Dire scans them too. Yep, they saw this coming, so they have a very good idea now of what's coming up. And they're going to fall back. Clockwork hits Heaven's Halberd has been finished, actually. That's just, that's an item that we should really almost expect to see at least one a game. Nowadays, it feels like. It's almost like taking over the Solar Crest in a lot of ways. Bottom lane.
Sorry, which item? Heaven's Halberd?
Heaven's Halberd, yeah.
I still feel like that item is underpurchased. It's just so good.
Yeah. For the value, yeah, they just keep on buffing it, man. They buffed it a lot over time here. It is a strong item. So yeah, Clockwork taking advantage of it here. But you see the counter smoking from Vici is also not going to end up in much, though. Both teams are in a very play safe mode and mindset here. Roshan, of course, as you mentioned, is definitely the next key for unlocking that.
I feel like I might have a confirmation bias of some sort, but from my memory, it feels like the Chinese smoke gangs have like the lowest connection rate compared to all the other region. And my personal theory on that is when they smoke gang, they always it feels like they take way too many heroes. So from the enemy side's perspective, suddenly when all 5 heroes disappear from the map, it's perhaps a little bit too obvious. Again, that could be confirmation bias. I don't watch every single Dota game, so I might just be watching those ones. But
no, that's a fair point, actually.
Every time I see a smoke gang fail, I'm like, yep, Chinese Dota.
Just saw an example right there of both sides doing the same timings, really, and that's running into each other. So Visage does actually have his Zags now coming, so now that we're getting to the later game style, Visage is going to get that 3rd familiar coming out as a result of the Ag, so just more power from him. And then Weaver even. I have Scotty's actually just about finished too. So the more time he gets to farm, I mean, the more dangerous. You already mentioned he's getting to an unkillable point. I mean, I have Scotty's going to almost feel like that is going to be the difference maker. As far as making it just so difficult to take him out again, unless they land that Chronosphere. Really a wombo combo of sorts is going to be necessary here from LGD, which they have that potential, just a matter of it all coming together.
And it's hard to come together, right? Again, how do you chain Echo Slam into Chrono in a way where your Shaker gets to attack? I guess Ame could land a Chronosphere where the Weaver is just at the side so that everyone could attack into it.
I think the ideal fight is that Faceless initiates on a Weaver, just look to use Chronosphere simply on Weaver, and then Echo Slam AA ulti on the other supports, you know, on everyone else basically. Like, that's the godlike initiation.
I mean, there's also this thing where, like, Weaver could just buy back a time-lapse back into the fight if he thinks, look, you committed all your spells. You got nothing left. I could just do that. With that said, though, that plays have been made in the past, and you just lose the game because you die a second time if you just, like, misjudge it.
Yeah, that could be dangerous.
I think Envy has made that play in the past.
Oh, you just had to give him a shout out.
Shout out to my boy Envy.
Well, he qualified for TI,
yeah,
so that's fine.
It's all good.
That's an Eye of Scotty finished on Weaver there. That means he doesn't have a buyback currently, but again, it's good luck killing him. 2,600 life, time lapse, cheese on top of that. Very, very slippery. Roshan is up in 10 seconds though, so here we go with the fight for Roshan beginning. Familiar's already there scouting it, so the Dire side is going to get that information in just a second. I'm sure the ping's going to come out immediately right after. Ooh, Ember Spirit, that was close. Yeah, I've noticed that throughout this game. They've been really abusing the X marks the spot quite a bit. Both sending back Ember Spirit to base and then having him come back in as a result. really quickly, or just stuff like that. You know, you put it on, they go in pretty deep, and then they get sent right back. So.
There's pretty much no way they could actually kill the Ember if that's the case. Hao gets jumped on the bottom side here, but he did activate his Sakuchi, so he should be fine. Oh, wait.
Orchid's up, but...
I mean, he has BKB. If
Yeah.
he feels unsafe, he can...
He's trying to bait that out, if anything. He wasn't getting a kill there, so...
Yeah.
He's just trying to make him use it, but not happening. So going to be fine, and back to the Roshan pit now we look. So both teams pretty much have confirmation that it is up. Just a matter who feels comfortable actually going in and who's going to get that jump, really. I mean, do you have to make a smoke player for LGD, you think?
It would help. The question is, do they have smokes left, right? They've been
Okay.
kind of churning through them, and I don't think they have it. Because normally if you have a smoke left, you would have one on your support, just in case you need to like smoke right then and there. So I'm guessing that they're out of it.
Faceless almost playing a ward himself. I think they almost think that it's happening, but it's as we see, that's not the case. I mean,
If they see Hao outside the pit, they could be pretty sure that it's not being done,
True.
because that's pretty much all of their physical damage against Roche. Uh-oh, this is...
interesting. Full speed of Plaid, he's going to be fine. Ball lightning in the backlands, catches Kunkka actually. The fissure on top of that. Clockwork though, the big initiation of himself with the counter initiation of the hook shot right there. Storm Spirit still sitting on top of Kunkka. He gets the kill. The roam is applied though to some teammates right there. Earthshaker, he's being heavily cut. He eventually fall again. He didn't get off an Echo Slam in the fight. Rubik's just trying to run. Here comes the Chronosphere, and he catches the Visage as well as the Clockwork. That's going to be 2 dead. 2 more dead even on top of that, and they're also going to get Weaver in the midst of it. He has time lapse though. Cheese in the backpack currently. There's the pick off on a Weaver, and now Ember Spirit and the Weaver going off onto the Faceless and the Storm Spirit. That was Visage picked off. Excuse me. Weaver still plenty alive. Swarm's applied now to Storm Spirit, and he's going to start running in and ends up denying himself after the mana burn just again proves to be too much there.
Yet another team fight where Hao does not get chrono, and that's not, to me, the mistake from the Faceless Void. That's just great positioning from Hao. He just wait for the team fight. His supports are always up on Ame's grill by using things like rooting him with the Ember Spirit, rooting him with the Ra Veto, so that he has to commit the chrono. And of course, once the chrono gets committed, Weaver comes out and kills everybody. There was an unfortunate misclick in that last team fight. Storm Spirit orchided one of the birds instead of the Weaver. And as a result, Hao wasn't even close to dying, so that's unfortunate.
That is a little unfortunate, but gotta wonder how much of a difference that really would have made right there.
I mean, you know, might have been Roshing right now if
Yeah,
Hao died, so
that's true.
pretty big difference. And now they got double cheese now. Hao has one, he's got the Aegis, somebody else has the other cheese. This is looking like it's almost insurmountable, especially if you see the item that Hao's getting next, the Bloodthorn.
That's the most expensive item in the game. Good old Bloodthorn. Faceless, he's also trying to go for one of his own, though. Chrysalis has already been picked up, and he has the Orchid recipe. Full queue here. So going to be a Bloodthorn against a Bloodthorn of sorts.
Can I give you a cocktail party unfun guy technicality?
What's that?
Well, technically,
It's not the most expensive?
Dagon 5 is the most expensive
Oh, God,
item.
you're that guy.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I mean, that's what I'm here for, right?
Mjolnir picked up by Ember Spirit. So, yeah, he's... I mean, Hal's continue to be the focus, but Ember Spirit's actually been up in top in the charts with net worth. I mean, he's 22,000 right now. In fact, Faceless Void has actually overtaken that.
Yeah.
Funny enough, but... my point is, Ori's obviously done plenty this game, too, and you can't look over that. In fact, his own Orchid into Bloodthorn is actually coming along, too. So.
Yeah, that's another thing that, you
Wow.
know, your Lincolns will be pressured. Your Storm's Yules will get pressured. So, yeah, it's rough. I do want to talk about the way that he's played Ember this game, starting with a drum spill that he got as his, I believe, first major item, right? We're so accustomed to seeing Ember Spirit being the, hey, I'm going to zip in and kill everybody, but this game he's more or less playing utility. He says, look, Weaver, you're going to do damage. I'm going to be up in the front line throwing out magic damage and roots mostly. And he's not looking to commit triple Remnant in to get kills. And I feel like Chinese region as a whole has, to me, developed this playstyle of Ember that's, I think, a little bit ahead of the other regions, the style of Ember. But again, that could be my personal bias.
Yeah.
Because I do watch a lot more Chinese game than other regions.
I just can't get over the fact. I mean, we're gonna have 4 Bloodthorns in this game if it works out this way.
Yeah.
I mean, Storm Spirit's going for his as well.
Oh, this is nicely played here.
Okay.
Using up at the end of the X. They're gonna try to chase something down, but the Force Staff is still in there. Is he gonna die? Echo Slam, perhaps? Okay, they get the Aegis.
All right, that's a start. That is a start. Nothing really major committed either, so this is very ideal. Chronosphere comes out, and the first Chronosphere to land on Hell. Out comes the Ice Blast as well, and Hell is going to melt in the midst of the fight. He has a buyback if need be. Clockwork also in trouble in the backline spaces, trying to do damage to him, but Storm Spirit, it looks like he explodes in the midst of it as Ember Spirit flies in with Clockwork and the cogs on top. Earthshaker buys back, as does Weaver, by the way, and of course he is back into the fight. He did time lapse back in, as you were talking about, but here we go again. It's round number 2, baby. BKB popped by Hal. Amy goes back in on the face of this point. He's looking to focus the Ember Spirit, but Amy needs to be careful. Time walk, maybe? Get that heal. Looks like yes. He time walked in time. He will be fine for now. Keeping his distance. In comes the Echo Slam for 11. Isn't enough. It is on Ember Spirit at least.
Weaver.
And if Weaver dies, that's going to be huge.
Weaver.
Maybe he's trying to run him down, but Weaver keeping his distance. He has to stay alive. The gem goes down, but Weaver, he's not afraid. He's going back in, baby. He gets a kill on Earthshaker, and he wants to do more even. He wants a tier 3 still. He gets a tier 3, but now he is going to fall back. And Ember Spirit, I believe that was a buyback onto him as well. If I'm not mistaken, yes, it was. So he's back into this fight. No buyback on Earthshaker. They're going to get racks here, it looks like.
Yeah, and it might be Mega Creeps as well. I think they have what it takes to just run bottom if they feel like they're strong enough. Here we go, jump forward. Again, this time it's going to be for the Ember, and Ember, that is a dieback.
Dieback, 120 seconds, aka 2 minutes. Hal's in trouble!
Oh my
Hal
God!
goes down, he's dead for 109!
Yo,
and LGD pushing out now. Schwann's also going to fall.
Go top. There's no towers to go top. They could just like take racks. I don't know if they can go throne. That's a lot of buildings in the way. I doubt it. But this is an opening that 5 minutes ago, if you told me this scenario, I say breaking you crazy because that's not going to happen. But now it's happening.
It is happening indeed. I'm almost just in awe at Vici. Why were they insisting on going so deep? I mean, Chronosphere's down. Echoes, I guess that's the answer, but clearly there's still enough firepower here for the likes of Faceless Void and Storm Spirit especially to deal damage, and you got to figure maybe an AA ult was thrown in there as well to help, and that with the Chilling Touch, I'm sure, had plenty of impact too. So
I think the Weaver buyback initially made sense because, again, all the spells are downs, right? So he comes back. He fought a long time. He actually, even after the buyback, got a second usage of the time lapse because the fight did go on for so long.
yeah.
But the buyback from the Shaker, that they needed to respect because that Echo Slam just opened this game up again. They get tier 1. They will get tier 2.
And more.
45 seconds till
I mean, why not?
You're going to get a Rax, right?
Yeah, no, they're getting racks 100%. I mean, that's 30 more seconds. In fact, Faceless Void, Chronosphere. Ooh. All right, that's what we call zoning, Chronosphere, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, well, with that missed chrono, I don't think they're going to get more than a tier 3, I say. It's going to be too dangerous.
Tier 3, BKB is going to be wearing off right here.
Okay, maybe they get a Rex still?
If you're Vici, I mean, it's such a fine line because you don't want to just throw your support. The fact Storm Spirit's like, we're going to come to you then. And Kunkka will get picked off. Lotus Orb on Clockwork in the midst of it. Now, they got to be careful not getting too focus fire because Weaver is up in 2 seconds. They're not going to get the rack, so they end up going for the Kunkka kill instead. And now they are going to at least attempt to retreat right here. Oh, maybe not. The fake fallback. They go back in. They're going for the kill on a Clockwork, and Clockwork may end up falling as the Echo Slam follows it up as well, but I don't even know if that connected on anyone, actually. He get forced staffed away right there.
Being focused down. He has no BKB, he has no jump, he has no way to get rid of Rudy. No. He's dead.
He couldn't get it off. Now, he has a buyback, though. So that is the key right there. Rubik is going to get caught, too, and Rubik will fall. Okay, so where the hell are we now? They do not get the racks.
We are watching the Chinese regional qualifiers.
I'm trying to really now look at this. Okay, so the melee racks did not fall. Do you think that was a mistake to go for Kunkka?
I think as soon as you missed the Chronosphere, that was a back.
Okay.
And they didn't go back, and that was it. With that said, though, LGD still has their own melee racks up top, so if Void buys back here, they can protect
back and forth. Here we go. You mentioned, yeah, they only got was a ranged earlier. Weaver goes back in. Remember, no buybacks on them. They got to be careful. Faceless Void. Chronos in 20. They do catch AA, and that will be a melee racks kill. Without the Chronosphere, I don't think Faceless figures it's not worth the buyback at this point.
Well, Vici says, look, if you don't buy back, we're going to keep pushing until you do buy back. So I think the buyback will get forced out regardless.
It's up in 5 now. And he does have a Bloodthorn, of course. So, yeah, here we go. Storm Spirit goes in. There's the buyback. He didn't catch anyone, though. He gets rooted by the Rod of Atos. Going for Visage. Visage taking some good damage, waiting for the Chronosphere. He's not going to use it on just a solo Visage. That'd be silly. Clockwork also the only one left behind. So Vici just really retreats there, which is definitely the smart move.
Yeah. So that just goes back to the decision of the Faceless Void, right? Had he just buyback before he lost the top racks, maybe Vici just backs off and respect the buyback, and they didn't have to lose that racks. But then we're playing the what-if game, so obviously LGD very far behind now. The next point of contention is Roshan, which is spawning in about, 30 seconds or 3 minutes. We'll see. Secondary Orchid / Bloodthorns are coming out on the side of Vici.
Yeah. I just can't believe that still. Yeah, Faceless has his. And of course on the other side, Ember Spirit has almost got his finish. Weaver actually is still working. So yeah, Faceless is the only one with it, isn't he? Yeah. Okay. Right now, Storm Spirit getting close to his. So yeah, that's going to be a very big item in this game on both sides here. There's a Shrine kill though from Faceless in the way and LGD. At least get that taken out. But again, they do not have any racks yet. They've lost their middle and their top racks here. Chronosphere is back up.
Oh, smoke.
Whoa, he's going deep for this. He really wants this kill. He does have the Echo. He's going to go off right there. Storm Spirit. They catch Kunkka. Kunkka's staying dead for about 70. BKB popped by Ori, though. And he'll, well, not too much, I guess.
Well, this Storm is making plays here, and they still have the Chronosphere in reserve. So they're saying, look, we're going to do Roche now, if it's up. And if you come, we have the Chronosphere for you. But unfortunately for LGD, it is not a, oh, if they just wait there for 10 more seconds, you can get Aegis.
Yeah, this is huge. Patience, LGD, patience.
I think the Ice Vortex should scout it out. It should last long enough.
Well, Faceless went bottom, though.
Oh, that is so unlucky for them.
Yeah, it's going to pop up right here, and they're going to be like, ah, crap. No, they didn't see it. It wore off at the last second.
Oh, my God.
They had it on their vision. They definitely did not see it.
Yao could just Ice Vortex it again, although he seems to have no intention to do so. But, LGD still needs to take care of the wave. They are down 2 sets of racks now. Cannot allow bottom to be pressured. And also at this time, when you're down so many racks, it's Visage as a support hero. Look at what he's doing right now. He's just shoving out waves with birds on the bottom side. And if you leave backdoor protection unintended to, those birds will take your Raxes.
Yeah, I think as far as it go late game like this, like where you're just about really trying to rat now and trying to finish the game, get those mega creeps, Visage is arguably one of the best heroes to have to do that.
Yep.
As far as your support option goes. So Vici very happy that they have him, I'm sure.
Yep. It's essentially having a 6th hero on the map that you don't essentially care too about dying, right? Like if the birds die, like okay,
ooh, a little bit of gold, whatever. Yeah, it might be the Bloodthorn though for Storm Spirit, and actually, yeah, he does have his Bloodthorn.
This is a SMY that's a 52 minutes in.
On Faceless? Oh, yeah. Huh. Wait. And he has a Yasha queued up. What happened here? Interesting. You see him in awe. You see him just like,
okay, so
what do I think of this?
I think he's going to break this SMY and turn it into a Mantis Out and a Heaven's Halberd. I think.
See, that would make sense to me, actually.
But I think it's just better off to have a Manta right now because you need to get rid of all those silences and roots that's coming your way.
And now he has a, what am I thinking here?
Now he's got the Moonshard queued up.
Yeah. Earthshaker, oh no, he spotted. No, he blinks just in time, and Hookshot hits another target. He went beyond him. That was not the intention. Clockwork's in trouble. Chronosphere's ready, though. He wants his Chronosphere, gets Weaver. He caught Weaver right here with the stuns. The Chronosphere's out the Ice Blast on top as well. And that's a dead Weaver again. Now, this time he does have the buyback. Use it immediately. Time lapse is back in. And here we go. Round number 2 once again. Ember Spirit, BKB is up. He has to get out. Hex actually onto that Faceless Void. Mjolnir returning plenty of damage, but Faceless Void, he may very likely fall. He could not get the time lock. He's dead for 108. And this could be the beginning of the end, although Ember Spirit goes down. If they get Storm Spirit, they're not going to, though. He keeps his distance. He'll be fine. So maybe not so much, but they're not going to have a Faceless for the next minute and a half right here.
Yeah, and I think that minute and a half is more than enough time here for Vici Gaming to claim the last 2 racks or just go for a GG depending how they feel. Okay, we feel like Roshan, so they go back for that. That's perhaps the ultimate safe play because How did buyback and time-lapse back into it. I really appreciate the balls that this man has, right? Because the last time he did that, they almost lost the freaking game.
Yep, and he didn't even think about this. He's like, I'm doing it again.
He's like, this is the right play. I'm going to go for it again. And this time they're going to be rewarded by winning a team fight and the Aegis. But this reminds me of the last game between Clutch Gamer and Execration yesterday, in a sense that this game shouldn't be as close. And look, here comes LGD.
No Chronosphere, no Echo Slam, who cares? Storm Spirit jumps in, pretty decent timing actually, will pull in the Weaver. Ship comes out, the rum applied. Down goes the Aegis, is picked up by Hao actually, as Roshan is picked off. So that's the key target for Vici right there. He pops his BKB, Storm Spirit now being stun locked. Needs to get the hell on out of here. Nice Torrent though on top of that, and he is going to barely be able to ball lightning. The final auto attacks coming out are not enough damage to finish him off actually, but
Rocket?
got what they came for, and that's the Aegis on a Weaver. Now, this is enough time to allow for Faceless Void at least to come back up.
Yeah.
However, so I want to bring this by you, Lumi, before we see another push right here. Instead of the success and Y even into whatever his plans are, honestly, Refresher seems like it'd be a pretty badass pickup here.
It depends on if you want to build offensive and defensive, but now that I think more about it, the Refresher allows you to have a second BKB essentially in a team fight.
True. That too. Another Bloodthorn even.
So I'm with you, Breaky. Put you in the game. Take Ame out.
Let me take over, Ame. I got this. Totally. Yeah, no, that would be a horrible idea. Me and my 6K skills, because I'm totally 6K.
Although one thing for sure is his mana pool. Hold that thought here, as we do have Kunkka being initiated on by the Stormster. Can he actually just get the solo kill? It looks like he does.
And he's down for 75. However, they get the turn on there. Actually, Chronosphere coming out. Weaver in the midst of that. He's not taking the most damage, though. Instead, they're focused firing the Visage. And now they're going for Weaver. Weaver's dropping. If he goes down, okay, that's the Aegis pop right now. So can they make a play after the fact? Again, they will not have a second Chronosphere. Embersphere can't get out. He's staying dead as well. And now Hao, he has to just run. He cannot worry about kills right here. He has to get the hell on out.
Jump, lip bash.
He gets lifted. He's going to die.
That's
and now it's an
dive
opening for LGD to go back here and try to finish the game in their favor some way, somehow. 56 minutes in.
Yo, LGD, like LD means come to our high ground, guys. We got you, and that's exactly what they're doing. Defense or high ground play again. 100 seconds. I think that's more than enough time here for LGD to shove the wave across. Dude, maybe we don't know what we're talking about. SNY is the play, man. Got
Really
the main in there, obviously making the difference. Going back to your suggestion to the Refresher, the one wrinkle in that problem is that his mana pool isn't the greatest, so I'm not sure whether he could get a back-to-back Chronosphere, especially if he's getting pressured by, let's say, a Diffusal Blade or by the Weaver. Whatever the case is, that doesn't matter because he doesn't have a Refresher, and they feasibly could win the game right here by LGD. Here we go, boys.
Vici Gaming's lives are on the line right here. They're the ones that are down 0-1, trying to force the third game here to keep their hopes alive of TI7. And LGD on the other side of it trying to face off against E-Home Keeman in the next round, which then would determine that spot. So they're going cutthroat. They're going right down the middle. We saw what happened last time. Chronosphere's up in 20, and that's right as Ember Spirit's coming up, by the way.
Yeah, and 60 seconds without the Weaver. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the team is all utility, right? Especially with the Ember Spirit going for the item builds that he's gone for. He's like saying, Weaver, you do the damage. The problem with that is if the Weaver's dead, there is no damage against the Faceless Void.
They're smoking in. Now they're not going for tier 4s. I think that's key. They're going for the top lane instead.
That's all right.
They're going for the top set of racks and try to even this up in the sense of the racks right here, and they're going to get it. Ember Spirit, even with Ember up, again, do you feel confident going in? Because this could be the game if you go into PG and they die here. So.
Yeah, if you go for the 2 Raxes, then you just back out after the 2 Raxes. Had they commit for the throne, then they commit fully. But it again, that was a decision point that we don't know whether it was the right decision, because you could have made an argument that, look, we could have gone tier 4 and win, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the call they made. We'll see how it plays out. Ori?
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Poor bot's level 2 porting in, actually, from Storm Spirit as well, but you see a Faceless and a Storm Spirit flying in on his head.
Dude, I'm at the edge of my seat right now because...
Yeah. Me too.
This game could go anywhere.
This is good Dota as far as just entertaining, I'll put it that way. I'm not going to sit here and say this is the cleanest Dota ever, but that's what makes the most entertaining Dota in my opinion.
I agree.
There's natural mistakes that can happen.
Amy?
Oh my gosh, this is big. This is a game-ending fight right here. Storm Spirit just going in. They have no clues. Hook shot kind of whiffs right there. Maybe a dead hit. They're locking down the Faceless Void with the Scythe. Nobody pops the BKB. Going in for the Weaver. The Chronos goes up. And now comes the Ice Blast as well. This Weaver's dropping. And once again, if he goes down, that could be it. He goes down. He's dead for 100 seconds. Nicey Kunkka trying to survive it off to the side over here. Maybe we'll barely be able to ball lightning away as Ember Spirit trying to run him down. Storm Spirit ball lightning again. No, Yule Scepter in the air. Faceless Void coming back in as the Echo Slam connects on a 2. Down goes Ember Spirit. He has a buyback. Kunkka's going to fall, though. It's just going to be Ember versus the world as Clockwork. Oh, nice job countering right there with the Electric Vortex. Pull in with the Lotus Sword, but down goes Clockwork. Okay, there are buybacks on actually Visage as well.
The Storm Spirit taunt. And now, like you said, Storm Spirit as well as the Void Faceless, Faceless Void buys back, and they're going to just run down this last set of racks. I believe LGD is going to get the first, the Mega Creeps. If you told me that 10, 15 minutes ago, I wouldn't believe you. This is crazy.
Absolutely no way.
You know, I keep saying, where are the Chronosphere on the Weaver? And Ame has hurt me, and he has delivered every single team fight since those moments. He just finds him and just chronos him every fight, and there is no more buyback. This could be Mega Creeps, but Mega Creeps ain't GG yet, so let's see if Vici could make a defense.
I'm not calling GG until the game is actually over, until we're at the score screen, because with a game like this, you absolutely never know. So there are the Mega Creeps. Now they just need to go for tier 4s, do as much damage as possible. I mean, you don't even defend tier 4s here, but obviously if they start beating on the Ancients, then you have to go
I think
in.
It might be it, man. I don't know. The damage output is crazy fast.
Chronosphere's in 20 seconds.
That SNY, Breaky. That
the SNY is the game winner. He does have a Bloodthorn here as well, remember, so Ember has to be very careful about that, but they're not going to go for it.
Game's not over yet.
Yeah. They say, you know what? There's still a little bit of time left. Let's not overdo it.
Let the boys play, man.
Indeed. What's our buyback situation? Let me just keep it on this tab, really, in a game like this.
Rubik has one, and AA has one.
Weaver's up in 30.
Okay.
And Clockwork. So those are big. Those are really big. What's Faceless? 620. Yeah, this is now Vici's chance. If Vici gets a pick off onto Storm or Faceless, then they're the ones that could actually finish this game.
Here's the line of play here for Vici Gaming. You need some Rat Dota from Chuan. Like, he needs to get his birds in the base, and I'm not sure if it's enough damage to break backdoor protection. I don't think it is, but I don't see how they could have another push that could get Mega Creeps. But I feel like he needs to make a play with his birds to give them a chance, give his team a chance.
So put it all on Chuan here. He's used to pressure. He's dealt with that before. That Scythe has definitely been pretty key too. I've noticed that Faceless has been hexed up a couple of times in these fights. Coming out from him. I thought Clockwork actually had one too, but never mind. He's got the Halberd. The Lotus Orb has actually been fun to watch there with the Axe. That was an interesting Lotus Orb on the Storm Spirit pull-in because he has the Axe. So it actually did the whole AoE pull-in right there as a result.
Wait, does he have the Axe?
Yeah, Clockwork does.
Oh, okay.
So I assume that's why that worked. Honestly, I didn't even know that that's how it 100% worked. If you have an Axe yourself with a Lotus Orb. But it looks like it does. Because everyone got pulled in on the Radiant side from what I saw.
Fight breaking out.
Yeah, Rubik going in with a hook shot. Ice Blast right on top. They do a good job of spreading. However, Clockwork gets caught. Ooh, that was an Echo Slam that it wasn't used on anyone, though. Or Shaker. Maybe the Blink got taken off unexpectedly.
Ao is on the chase. Chronosphere on top of his face, and look at his HP! He's gone! He has the buyback. He time-lapse into the Chrono. He should be fine right now, and now it's looking to kill.
Faceless. If he dies, we just talked about this. If he dies, that could be GG in favor of Vici Gaming. So now Ame has to keep his distance. Just keep him alive is the name of the game. Weaver, though, wants that kill. X is going to pull him right back in. Can they stop this? They cannot. He's dead for 2 minutes. 80 seconds death for AA. He does have a buyback
home in trouble. Storm is porting into the throne.
Going for the throne.
He's
this
hitting
is
the
it.
throne.
LGD's going for the throne. Here comes Ember Spirit holding him off, though. Silence goes up. And there's the counter Silence with the Bloodthorn. In fact, Ember Spirit could be in trouble here. Storm Spirit's going in. Ember Spirit's dead. Hook shot in now. Coming for Clockwork. But can he stop this? He can't stop this by himself. Who cares if they're tied in other places? Unless they get back, this could be the game now for LGT.
Disarm,
once again, now they
disarm,
and it's going to be enough to scare him off right there.
All right, the base at 1,000 HP. Keep in mind, 90 seconds, 2 Faces Void. It's time to get kills and pressure mid. Go, go, go. It's so anybody's game right now.
How do you do that, though, with Storm Spirit lurking nearer and obviously their base being heavily pushed in? They can't capitalize.
Where is Yao going right now? This is not the time to hit neutral creeps. What is going on?
He's farming, man. He wants that Mjolnir, which no doubt will be great in a game against Mega Creeps, but yeah, it's as far as, I don't know, man. It's the last thing he wants to do, though, is go for try to finish. Oh, God,
Victoria gets a lift up. I mean, I don't think they kill me or anything. By the way, How tried to TP back to defend against the Storm push, and Victoria was there to break his Lincolns, or just lift him up and cancel the TP. That was the reason why Stormster was able to do so much. Do they have protection? How pops his BKB? He is Sakuching away. He does not have time-lapse, and it looks like they just guessed wrong, and How should be able to make it home. But this is precious seconds that Vici Gaming that isn't pushing the waves back.
Yeah, no, LGD is happy with this. They're like, all right, we don't get the kill, but Faceless is up in 30. Who cares? He's up.
All right,
Roshan's also up.
Buyback timer check.
Yep, on it here.
3 minutes.
Cap. So it's up in 3. He's going to be up in 20, though, as far as just naturally. Refresher, by the way, on Storm Spirit. He's had that, so double Blood Thorn, double bots even. He has 21 charges on that Bloodstone, which, of course, is helping.
Not going to lie, this is my first time ever seeing a Refresher Storm Spirit.
Seems like an odd item on a hero, but it makes sense at the same time, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's basically using the Refresher all for his, like, item activation.
Oh, yeah. That's 100% all.
Yeah. I guess also Electric Vortex, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely the big key right here. I mean, Lotus Orb on Rubik. Let's kind of, okay, we're in a little bit of a calm, quickly go through level 25s, 20% cooldown reduction on Rubik. On level 25 yet on him. Storm Spirit, of course, with the Electric Vortex here, so for the pull in. Basis did get the 600 time walk cast, so he's had that for a while, of course.
Yeah.
Earthshaker's almost level 20. That could be interesting. -2 seconds or a 600 life there. Everyone else, Weaver, 35% magic resistance over the Sakuchi speed. Interesting.
Look, he's chrono half the time,
True.
so I'm not sure if Sakuchi matters. Especially, again, there's a lot of magic damage coming outside of LGD. One thing I want to mention is right now, Hao is essentially trading his 8-minute buyback cooldown for a chronosphere, right? Every time they even have a chance of winning a fight, is he gets chronoed, he buys back, and he time-lapse back into the fight. Yeah. The problem is he doesn't have buyback now, so I don't see how Vici wins the fight unless Ame just whiffs the chrono, which can happen.
Here we go. Jump in the chrono, hits Visage. That's not the prime target. So what are they going to do after this now? Visage is going to end up falling. No buyback for him, but you see how he's just hanging around. No chronos to be worried about, but they're going for the edge. They're going for the finish. LGD wants this game over. They don't care about Hal. They want that GG, and they'll get that GG. LGT's going to the next round of face. Home Keen with a spot to TI7 on the line. VG is out of it. What do you say with a game like that? I'm just gonna walk off. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna no, we're not gonna do that. Wow, what a game! What a game, Lumi. Need some water after that one. Need a break. That means, though, we are going to have a break as we get set up for the next series. This is Dota 2. This is fun, man.
This is when I grow to, like, old man status. Like, I'm 70 and my grandkids, like, what do you do? I'd be like, I show him this, I show him the LD WoW moment. I show him this and be like, dude, you see how he was farming creeps as he's getting megas. And actually, jokes aside, this is going to be yet another player that won't make the 7 consecutive TI. Hao is now off that list. That's a big loss from a historical perspective. But man, LGD had a big moment where they could just win this game. They were looking sick at a point, but then Ame just turned on. He was hitting Chronosphere like no other, and
yeah, Vici were so freaking close, but obviously not to be for them in the end. And again, we got our next and final round of these whole qualifiers now set up. So. Before we go to the break right here, I personally want to say, thank you guys for tuning in. This was a great casting experience, being able to do this, casting alongside you, Lumi. I say that because Lyrical will be taking over as far as the casting goes for myself. But big shout out to everyone here at BTS, the production and everything, and all the casters that I got the chance to cast with. So thank you guys.
And the people that's taking care of us.
And the hospitality, everybody. I don't want to start listing off names because then you forget somebody and then it's awkward. But I know. Big shout out to all of them that they know who they are, and obviously shout out to you guys for tuning in once again. So I definitely I'm gonna be at TI no matter what myself. I've already got my ticket and everything. So look forward to seeing everybody there, everyone that's here, including and you guys tuning in at home. Hopefully you guys can make it. But it's gonna be a hell of an event. But we still got one more set here. Eom Keen versus LGD. Lumi,
I just started clapping because they did the whole clapping thing.
They did the clapping thing.
But, yeah,
they did. What a game. Until we're going to go to a short break, guys. But stay tuned. Final series, best of 3, coming at you. Spot the TI7 on the line. We'll be back.